All right. This is interior designer Steve Adamko. I'm going to be talking about interior design seminars, webinars, and teleseminars as a way to set you up for success the right way. I can only say this about myself, but my interior design seminars, webinars, and teleseminars, as well as workshops, are wonderful ways to learn about the fundamental principles of interior design and decorating that will enable you to be successful in your endeavors with your interior design and decorating. You may not be able to afford the full level or full-blown services I offer as an interior designer, yet you need expert, knowledgeable guidance and instruction so that you do not waste your money. Ideally, it's about investing that money properly. If you don't have lots of money lying around, then it behooves you to get it right once the first time. When you don't have a plan to get you from point A to point B, you won't get it right the first time. As you begin to adjust and correct various complications, you'll realize it's costing you even more of your time, effort, and money. It also means that as time passes, you're needing to wait for money to become available. All these restrictions limit you and can produce serious and unnecessary disappointments. Everybody's looking to save money, and that's one part of the equation. The other part of the equation is getting what you need. There's no sense in saving money but not getting what you need. So let's not focus solely on the money, but also think about what you ultimately want as your end result. Once the interior design and decorating work is completed, you don't focus on or even see your savings. You look around and cherish the beauty, assuming, obviously, that it's been done right. The vast majority of people do not understand what it takes to develop a fantastic, brilliant design or design scheme. They learn tips, tricks, and pointers from other people, but this won't get it. Most of the time, the small tidbits of information just get people deeper in trouble. Then they are even more confused about how to get out of it. You can't do well with anything unless you understand it. Take golf, for example. You can't do well at golf unless you know how to grip the club, stand and address the ball, and then follow through correctly. If you don't do these very basic things right, you'll become awfully frustrated. You'll be hooking and slicing, and you'll end up as a lost ball in tall weeds. And last time I checked, the fun was in the fairway, not in the weeds or in the bunker. This is exactly the scenario that happens when people don't understand the principles and practices of interior design and decoration. And yet, they want a beautiful room or environment. How can this happen? Well, it can't. These types of catastrophes happen all over the world. Many people think they have a great-looking room. Maybe that's so. But where's the ambiance? Where's the feeling? It lacks richness, sophistication, and most notably, distinction. It truly is not great looking. Catastrophes in interior design and decoration happen because the creator lacks experience and knowledge. And I use creator loosely here. In my opinion, much of this damage has been done by HGTV. Granted, there are some good shows on that channel, but many are very amateurish and don't or can't show the real side of what undeniably great design, great interior design is all about. Interior design is not about somebody coming in, not asking you very many questions, then asking or telling you to go away for a week, and then when you come back, you're amazed at what they or somebody else has decided for you. I've met 2 women from HGTV on separate occasions that had their own shows, and I was not impressed with either one of their portfolios, and yet they are on TV, along with dozens of others that are average and mediocre. Don't be fooled. Just because someone is on TV doesn't qualify him or her to be a real professional. I asked one of them, "How did you get to be on HGTV and in front of the camera?" She answered, "It's because I was behind the camera." I thought to myself, wow, That sure is a real set of credentials you've got there. That's like me asking someone, "How did you become a doctor?" Then they answer me, "I watched every show of Dr. Marcus Welby and Grey's Anatomy, and now I'm qualified to be a doctor." All right, you see how ridiculous that is? And this happens in interior design and decorating all the time. Every time you turn around, somebody's saying, "Oh, I'm an interior designer." Really? If you don't have enough money to hire a real professional, you need to learn from someone who is a real professional, who really knows what they're doing, who not only does it, but can teach it as well. My seminars, webinars, teleseminars, and workshops are inexpensive compared to you having time with me one-on-one. Yet, they're valuable ways for you to get the right information that will help you create a very successful and pleasing interior design. You've got to learn what is going on. You've got to learn what to do from someone who really knows what they're doing. My seminars, webinars, and teleseminars, plus my workshops, are really inexpensive yet valuable ways for you to get the right information that will help you create a very successful and pleasing interior design. Now, when I say inexpensive, I mean compared to working with me one-on-one. Okay, it's a very cost-effective way to learn. But again, a lot of people know and can do a lot of things, particularly in interior design, but that doesn't make them good at teaching it. Doing it and teaching it are two different things. And if you can do it and teach it, that's the kind of person you want to learn from. And I can not only do it, but I can teach it very well, to the point that you'd even have to need help to misunderstand me. In other words, I make it that clear. Okay? So it's unmistakable that you will take a lot away from these types of presentations that I give. You've got to learn this from someone who really knows their stuff, one who has hit the bullseye each and every time and has for years. So you need someone who is very skillful, knowledgeable, and passionate, which is what I deliver. So it's not just the passion that makes it work, because passion without the skill, knowledge, wisdom, and talent won't do you any good. And a lot of people promote, "Oh, I'm so passionate out there." And what does that mean? Doesn't mean a thing, all right? You need to understand that passion by itself does not mean anything. So don't go with somebody who always just touts how passionate they are about things. There are a lot of people that are very passionate about golf that are not very good golfers, okay? And we're not talking about the pros here. We're talking about a lot of golfers, hundreds of thousands of golfers who are on the links every weekend that, are good, anywhere from bad to good to average to mediocre, but yet they're very passionate. So again, you can be very passionate about whatever it is you're passionate about, but that doesn't guarantee, that is not the stamp of approval that you are good at what you do. You're just passionate. But if you've never been taught how to hold the club correctly, how to stand and address the ball, the proper backswing, the proper position of your body as the club impacts the ball, and the proper follow-through, well, you're just not going to be very good, period. So there's a lot of topics that can be covered with webinars and teleseminars and seminars and workshops, both locally and across the world. And that I've always felt strongly about, that there's so many people out there that need help, so they don't make mistakes. Because I hate to see people, lose money, waste money, or unbeknownst to them, they realize, I only had one shot to make this right, and now I didn't do it right. Or somebody instructed me that didn't know what they were doing. I mean, there's all kinds of people out there, whether they're store decorators or designers or people on their own. Realize that there's all levels of ability, from kindergarten to collegiate to master's to PhD to doctorate. So you got to make sure you know what you're getting. You've got to know what you're getting before you hire someone or involve someone in your interior design. That is, if you care. I guess if you don't care, don't worry about it. There's some people out there that just have the mindset that a chair is a chair. Okay? I wouldn't work with somebody like that. I couldn't work with somebody like that because they don't differentiate. Now, if they're out there and they're a hunter, they're not going to say, a bow is a bow is a bow. I mean, they're going to be very fastidious. And people who are in golf, they like to know. They'll pay money for a certain putter. They'll pay a certain amount of money to cut, one stroke off their game. You look at anyone who's passionate about anything and you say, well, a ring is just a ring, or a button is just a button, or a stitch is just a stitch. You'll find out those people who are passionate, they really want the best. So let's just get into what are the things that I offer. Well, there's always space planning, knowing how to do it right, teaching people how to buy a house properly from the inside out, helping people realize that it's the floor plan that shapes everything you're able to do and can do in a new home. Many people just eyeball room and think, oh, yeah, that will fit. Well, I've never bought a house without measuring it and space planning it before I bought it because I want to know how it's going to work and if it works precisely. You don't want to get there and say, oh, I wish, too bad this is like this and too bad this doesn't work out. It's a little tighter here. We can't fit our furniture like we want to. Well, you've just spent, anywhere from 80 to 150 to 250 to 500,000 to $1 million plus on your home. And then you find out that it doesn't fit and doesn't work the way you want it. You don't even do that with a pair of shoes or a shirt, which is a lot less money. Now, it depends on what kind of shoes you're buying. If you're buying some high-end shoes, it could be $500, $1,200, $5,000 a pair for high heels. So, you want them to fit right. You want your clothes to fit right. You're not going to buy something that doesn't fit right. But people do this with homes all the time. So what are some of the other topics that we can discuss? Well, color is another big one. How to use color correctly. How to make sure it's orchestrated right. Color is how you light it. It depends on how it's illuminated. Is it sunlight? Is it incandescent, fluorescent? Is it MR16s? Anything like that. So it all makes a difference. And light and color change throughout the day. So a lot of people are very confused just about color. And then let's talk about this. Since I talked about color is how you light it, let's talk about lighting. My gosh, how many people mess up a good interior or a potentially good interior with poor lighting? And once you realize how important lighting is, and it's not the cans or the holders, but the bulbs themselves that do the major work, then you'll realize what it means to have the proper lighting, beam spread, intensity, color rendition, and all of that. And whether it's task lighting, ambient lighting, focus lighting, there's all types of different lighting effects. And sometimes the more combinations you use, the more rich it looks. And so anything can look better if you light it correctly. Take, for instance, women who put on makeup. If you put makeup on under the wrong lighting conditions and go out into another situation where the lighting is different, you may find out you don't look nearly as beautiful as you thought you looked. Okay? It's very revealing. I remember going to GE's Neela Park Institute when I was in design school, and they had many booths that were the exact same thing, like a table that had food laid out on it and other things, and each booth had its own lighting source. So it was fluorescent, incandescent, mercury vapor, metal halide, all that kind of stuff, and every one of them changed the total color completely. As a matter of fact, some of the lighting sources made the food look so bad, just looking at it almost made you want to throw up. It was that powerful. And swinging back around to this topic of houses and homes, many people don't know how to buy a home properly because nobody's taught them. And we're not talking about what you learn from your realtor. I mean, many realtors don't know that much about space planning, the proper layout of a room. I've seen people buy homes that they were enamored by, the staircase or the columns that were there. And by the time it gets space planned, I've had large homes in terms of square footage that by the time you were done space planning them and trying to squeeze the most out of them, it ended up being nothing more than a glorified apartment as far as what you could do because too many things were in the way and not properly positioned, and then you couldn't do much with anything. As a matter of fact, I can take the same size room and position the doors and windows in different positions, and it will totally affect what you can and cannot do with that space because the different traffic patterns can cut the room up in so many pieces that it's not really usable for what you want to do with it. Now, it may be useful for someone who has a different life circumstance, but not for you. I had a condo once that was exactly the same footprint as the one next door, except that was a mirror image. But the way the walls were laid out in mine were supremely workable. I mean, perfect. Where the other one was not anywhere near perfect. Matter of fact, it was terrible. I couldn't even do what I wanted to do. So, the length of certain walls will affect whether or not you can fit a sofa and two end tables that you currently own. And maybe they're wonderful quality and you've had them a long time. You don't want to get rid of them. So, it behooves you to make sure that you're taking proper measurements and have it drafted up and space planned so you know what you're getting. It's just like, getting measured for a custom suit. Who would eyeball that? Eyeball your body and say, well, I think I can do this, this, and this. No, they're going to measure. That's what the pros do. So anyway, there's lots to be learned, which can be extremely helpful to you. You can check out some of my design seminars, webinars, teleseminars, and workshops at my website, spectruminteriors-designs.com. Now, you can call me about any of these if you want, or even have seminars and whatnot developed. You can even offer some suggestions about what you'd like to see in terms of a seminar, a webinar, teleseminar, or a workshop. Okay, I'm always open to ideas from people. You can call me toll-free 24/7 at 866-239-6520. It's always good to get the proper knowledge in order to set yourself up for success. You don't want to waste your time, your effort, or your money. You want to get it done right once the first time and then enjoy the results of that labor from there on out till the end. That's the way you want to do it. All right, everybody have a great day.